Thanks for tapping in with 95 South TV, hosted by Icon Ian King J, bringing you the best news and media through the efforts of the community. We interview nonprofit organizations, business owners, school teachers, spiritual leaders, and anybody who has an impact in the community that has a remarkable backstory. These professionals that we bring on this show has a story that will wow you, that will knock your socks off. And with that being said, we want you to tune in, keep it locked. We want you to like, share, follow, and subscribe. Be a dedicated listener. Come in, and if you require to do an interview, you can definitely reach out to us at 95southpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for your own.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon, and we here on 95 South TV once again. First and foremost, y'all know what I gotta do. I gotta thank God for this opportunity, because without God, we have no reason, we wouldn't even be here. And to be able to have this great platform, to have great interviews and great discussions. So, secondly, I gotta introduce my right hand man, your baby mama's favorite host. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Voiceover himself, Mr. Go Getter, Mr. Do Everything, Jacob the Great. What's going on, fam?
Good morning to all, man. Glad to be in the land of delivery, man. So we're here for another productive day, another great interview with another great professional.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So today we got, we got royalty in the building. We got, excellence. We got a queen in the building. We got somebody that's be, running around just taking over. So we got this great young lady, model, scooping up awards, jump on everybody events, just infiltrating. You know what I'm saying? We got the great, La the model. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So don't get it twisted with Lala you see on the Shy and all that. We got Lala the model in the building. What's going on, Queen?
What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, Icon. Appreciate it, Jacob. Thank you so much. Glad to be here. Glad to be alive.
Glad to have you. So we was at the Chosen One Awards, Chosen TV One Awards in Columbia, South Carolina, probably about a month back or so. And this young lady walked up on me, whatever, and was like, she wanted to, definitely tap in with me. And a lot of times you hear people say that they don't tap in and, whatever. And then she ended up reaching out to me last week. And I said, yeah, sure, come on. We'd love to interview you or whatever. So basically, I just want to kind of get into your story a little bit and kind of start from the beginning of, well, first of all, you from the Charlotte area, correct?
I do modeling in the Charlotte area, but I stay in Salisbury, North Carolina.
Salisbury, okay. Yeah, not too far from that area. Mm-hmm. So basically, what age did you start actually? Like, did you first get the taste of modeling or the opportunity to model?
So back when I was 13, I actually got a small taste through John Casablanca's, but I never finished it. So now in my current years, probably about maybe 9 years ago is when I started back modeling. And it's been taking off since.
Okay, so interesting. So because I put my daughter through that program in Atlanta, and to me, I felt like it was sort of scamish a little bit. Paid all at the time. I don't know how it was back then when you were doing it, but when I put her in it, you paid all this money to take these classes for about, I guess it was like a month or so maybe, and then they were supposed to find work for the kids, whether it was through commercials or TV, movies, or whatever it was, even modeling, and nothing came from it. But then they expected like you to basically to pay all this money or whatever. So was it like that for you back then?
Or it was like that. Yep. Mm-hmm. And also too, I went through John Casablanca's 9 years ago. So I graduated in 2017. Okay. And it, unfortunately, it is just like it's what you just said. We paid all that money, and they were supposed to find work, but they wanted you to keep paying more money on top of more money on top of more money. So I then just branched out and was under another one of the teachers that branched out as well from John Casablancas. So I started modeling with her probably back in 2018 because I graduated in 2017. So about 2018, I started modeling up under her. And then now, since I've kind of learned the ropes of things, I'm just basically a freelance model.
Got you. So quick question. I used to be a manager of like artists and stuff. List artists, manage a lot of artists, and I mean I managed anything from singers to street dudes. And the thing about it was, in that everything is competitive. But when I
Mm-hmm.
got into the media world and started doing radio, I found out that the radio stuff was more competitive, and I got into more arguments and almost situations than I did when I was managing artists, which was crazy to me. So I know modeling is competitive, but what kind of competitive is it? Is it almost fighting somebody competitive, or is it somebody trying to take your spot competitive? Like, what kind of competitive is it in modeling?
So when I hear someone say that, and I also say it myself, modeling is competitive as far as how you look, how you dress, how you carry yourself. Um, but what makes me stand out from all of that is I'm uniquely different. So I have accepted who I am and I have improved the things that I need to improve on. So the image that I want to portray to the world is based off of um, my own of how I want it to be. So again, body wise, how you look is very competitive, but as long as you work on what it is that you need to work on and how you want to portray out into the world for the world to see, it really ain't no competition, honestly.
Okay. So that's a interesting thing, because I thought about that this morning. So I'm gonna have you elaborate more, because okay, so who did you kind of study? Because everybody in any field has somebody they study or they look
Mhm.
to kind of get, to say to model themselves maybe after to a certain degree. So who did you look to? And like it was whether like more recently, the most famous model we've ever heard of most recently is Giselle. You know what I'm saying? But back in the day, we had Vanessa Williams, and we had what's the name? The one that played in all the movies, Jacob. Um, the model way back in the day. They had the top model show. I don't know why I can't
Come
remember
on,
her name.
Tyra Banks.
Yeah, Tyler. Yeah. So we had her years ago or whatever. So what do you look? What makes them kind of stand out as far as being that top model? Other than okay, they fine, they look good, all that kind of stuff. But I'm saying, what makes them be able to be able to get that bag and be on such a high level?
I would definitely say their mentality, their personality, how they carry themselves, how they portray themselves to the world. And that's kind of sort of what I look into is especially high fashion. So if I could say of anyone, that I do kind of, especially back in the days, used to just kind of look as far as like a role model or whatever, I would say Tyra Banks because she was always, high fashion. Um, it didn't really matter as far as like how big her body was in different areas because she still maintained getting the bag. And then also too, you know, teaching and studying and just sharing with the world her knowledge on what they could do as far as how they could be in that aspect as well.
Okay. Go ahead, Jacob.
All right. So it's interesting that you've been modeling for as long as you have, and over my course of career, I've dealt with a lot of different models, from runway shows to print models to makeup models to hair models, um, even some of the bottle girls that work with Seagrams and Cirocs, and because most of them are models as well, and I had the chance to deal with the Wilhelmina models out there in California. So, um, so when it comes to modeling and you did say the way you carry yourself, the way you look. So how important is it for a model to hire an image consultant?
Well, it's important. It is. But if that individual model can make sure that they can do it themselves, because see, I don't have an image consultant. Um, you can play it in both ways. You can hire an image consultant, or you can kind of wing it your way. But if you wing it your way, you got to make sure you've done that background homework on what it is that you're doing, where you're going, how it is that you need to piece things together, because you can't just put clothes together. You got to be able to make sure that everything is correct and right. But in this aspect, I have not had the opportunity to hire one. Not just yet.
Mhm. Well, the reason why I say that because you're definitely a high end model, and you're definitely gonna kick down doors and go places. And so I know when it comes to certain type of agencies that models are always in like Paris and London and they over in Europe and they over in Guam, Eastern Asia and stuff like that. So those image consultants travel with the model. So in independently, a lot of people may not saying you particular, but a lot of a lot of models may not understand how important the image consultant is to that particular agency because they probably been working with the agency for like 20, 30 years. And so, and sometimes it's just a whole lot more than going into models than just what the public see because the public don't see what's going on in the background. They don't see the training of the body, the 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 eating regimen that they may be on, or they don't really see the back and forth that the models because the modeling industry is like the music industry. It's definitely a lot of back and forth.
Yep.
It's definitely a lot of the agencies that's bidding. You know what I mean? And with that being said, do you manage everything all by yourself as far as paperwork and everything?
Yes, I do. I manage everything all by myself.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I haven't been able to, it's coming. Um, it's coming to where I'm gonna have to be possibly managed by someone. Um, I don't know if that's gonna be this year, but I do have a good, really good feeling, great feeling that it will be coming in the future.
Okay. Well, I got a person out of Charleston, South Carolina. I'm gonna plug you in with. Her name is Nina Nesbitt, and
Okay.
man, Nina from Paris to New York to Vegas to LA Fashion Week, to even casting, people because most of a lot of models turn into actresses too, and so
Yep.
from from casting people to Empire to Queen Sugar, um, to The Walking Dead to just a lot of different shows from her working with Tyler Perry to Terry McMillan. She's been in it for about 32 years. So you know what I mean. But yeah, this is one of my good friends in the industry that I definitely plug you with. So when it
I
comes
appreciate
to
it.
well, not a problem. When it comes to you working with the music industry, what does that look like for you?
So this year I have been in two videos. One for Be Sincere. His video is called sorry. His video is called Lord, I didn't have a blank on it. And then Isaiah, his video is New Me. I'll come back to the other one, but I had an opportunity to be in both of those videos. Um, it was amazing, just to kind of see the R&B side, and then also too to see the rap side, and then just to give both of them their flowers, to see the behind scenes with just making the video, understanding the music. To me, I think it was really great. With the music industry, it's a whole different type of aspect that you want to put out, and then you see the people and they're sharing their hearts, they're sharing their passions with the world, and all they want the world to see and hear is just music, to understand music. And be
Okay.
sincere is out of sight, out of mind.
Okay. That's great. That's great. That's great. So when it comes to you on the business side of it, are you that type of model that is willing or is open to having your own fashion shows, whether it be a runway show, whether it be a pageant show, um, um, whether it be uh, um, unisex type show, where you have male models and female models, or how does that look for you to really start doing your own events where is La the model presents such and such. You know what I mean?
So last year I did have just a small chance to prepare a show for a friend of mine, that she was giving back to the community as far as the military veterans, that she was doing in Charlotte last year, Jessica Pfeiffer. I had the opportunity to just kind of get my feet wet as far as in that aspect. It turned out great. Her event turned out really good. This year I am supposed to be partnering with another friend of mine to hopefully, by the end of the year, have a fashion show that's kind of mixed in with music artists as well. So we just have a big event so where everybody gets to showcase their talents. So supposed to start that sometime this year.
Okay, okay. Right, you got Karen. That's what's up, though.
Okay. So basically, what do you feel like it's important for a model to have extra skill set? Like you see, like some models may sing, have a singing career, or afterwards, and still be able to do the modeling, or they may get, like we say, acting, where they start getting into different movies and TV roles, things of that nature. Do you think it's important for you to carry your career for like a 20, 30, 40-year career to be able to have that extra skill set?
I do think it's important, but then also too, you got to understand behind it, you've got life as well, because you may have a family, you may have kids. So if this is something that definitely you are wanting to pursue, you're wanting to have long term, first and foremost, yes, talking it over if you have family, because you need that support behind you, because it's going to take you away, if you do have kids. And see, for me, I have kids. So, well, I have a son now. That's the only one left. But it does kind of take me away, sometimes away from him. So making sure that I've got that support and that he understands what it is that, mom has to do, then I can see, maybe it going further, because it will take you away, but it is for a good purpose. To be more seen, to be just gravitating more to what it is that you want. But I do agree. I do.
Okay. So how taxing or grueling or demanding is having a full-time, like, or a modeling career that you really take it seriously, really trying to push to be at, the best you could possibly be? How grueling and taxing is that?
It can be very grueling. It can be very taxing, which is why you have to make sure that you have extra reserve. You have to make sure you got like other type of income means that come in. So I'm a logistics manager during the daytime. I do that Monday through Friday. And so, with the flexibility and time that I have, I'm able to do the things that I want to do. This year has actually started picking up a lot. Throughout my whole modeling career, this year has actually been absolutely amazing. Got a chance to travel to BET to see the BET Awards for the first time, experience the BET Awards. I'm also going to be traveling to Augusta, Georgia, because I've been nominated for Southern Plug Mag Female Model of the Year. So I'll be seeing that in July 27th to see the results. Coming up in September, I'm going to New York Fashion Week for the first time ever, never been. So that's exciting. And then when I did a fashion show in Spartanburg for Juneteenth, I actually met alumnum Victoria for America's Next Top Model. So I will be modeling for her designs in December, Gulfport, Mississippi. So now I've started adding this year a lot of travel, which is meaning that's a lot more money that's coming out, but it's also getting me seen. It's also getting me exposure, which will lead me into, you know, Jacob, is what you were saying, Paris Fashion Week, LA Fashion Week, Miami Fashion Week, because all of those have been presented to me, but it's my choice. Do I want to take those or do I not want to? So that's the perfect thing for me, is I have the flexibility option. Do I want to take it or do I not?
Okay, so yeah, because I actually, when I was reading your bio, I was gonna tell you about the Alabama Music Awards, but it's the same weekend as the Southern Plug Awards, and I know down in Alabama they're doing their 11th annual Alabama Awards. And the thing about the Alabama Awards, if you ever get a chance to tap in, and I can get you with the promoter of it that does it, they have so many genre of music and different people, like say models and business people and stuff out there. So it's just not like, you know, a lot of times you go to a award show, and you know, no offense to anybody, but it's kind of catered to either hip hop or R&B or one kind of genre of music. Where the Alabama Awards is, you have country, EDM, you have Southern soul, you have gospel, you have all kind of stuff. So we're gonna be down there covering that event this year. We did it 2 years ago, and we're gonna be covering it again this year. So that's so definitely, if there's something that you want to do in the future, let me know and I'll tap you in with the guy. So I wanted to go back because I was gonna ask you this question. How was the experience? Because when I talked to Sam, and I know some of y'all, I don't know if you went with Sam, and he was basically like, shoot, most of the people, like, they didn't even care about going to the actual award. They was happy to be in LA and was running around LA or whatever. They didn't even care about the awards part. So how was it for you? What was your experience?
Okay, so I did go to Sam. Shout out Sam. I was able to travel down with them and kind of be, you know, within their vicinity. I absolutely enjoyed LA. I absolutely enjoyed the BET experience. So when you look at on TV and you look at it as, you know, a young kid or whatever, and you're seeing it on TV, but to actually see it live and in person, it's a whole total different experience. It was wonderful just seeing the artists, seeing everybody perform the Bobby Jones gospel. Man, there's so much talent that a lot of people, they don't see. You know, they look at it on TV, but to see it in person, the talent, the beauty of it. And for Black entertainment television, BET, is beautiful being in the building with just so much of just our color. Just to even say, and talent, just hidden talent, just beauty of talent, and it's being exposed. It was a wonderful experience. I got a chance to meet, Be Sincere, he helped me out with this one. Got a chance to meet Marvin from Power. Raising
yeah, that's my guy. The one that always eating on every episode. yeah.
It was
that's
great.
my favorite chef on the show.
Yeah, it was great meeting him. And just to see him up close and in person. I posted him on my page. It was great. You know, it was just a different experience. It puts you in different eyes, different rooms of just a different mentality of how you need to be and how you need to think going forward, even in life. You know, you can't think small no more. You got to think big. You got to think, you know, how can I change the world with just who I am? So.
Okay, so who did you kind of see, maybe even like from afar, that you was like, you know, that you know, maybe grew up watching, or you just like, oh man, there goes such and such, you know? So was it anybody at one moment you seen that person from either from afar that you was like, oh man, I can't believe I'm this close to such and such?
Yeah, so I've had growing up, Marcus Houston was one of my biggest fans. Well, not fans, but I was a big fan for him. And just to see him presenting an award for someone, Kevin Hart, that's just being at the actual BET Awards. I cared about going to the BET Awards. I'm running in 6-inch heels because they trying to hurry up and get us there. But just seeing all the artists in the actual BET Awards up close with my eyes, yeah, that meant a lot. It was very important. Snoop Dogg, Jamie Foxx, Taraji P. Henson. I am a huge fan of her being an actor, a very huge fan. Carrie Hilson. It's just, man, just to be actually there in the vicinity, in the room, it's a different feeling.
You know, it's funny because years ago I did when I was doing my radio show, I actually covered Luda Day in Atlanta, and that day because I able to interview Kiki Palmer for a quick minute. Very humble, very sweet girl. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know, what you see is what you get. She's really that way. And then I seen what's her name? Kevin Hart was there, and Lorenz Tate and Kevin Hart was there. But the funny thing about Kevin Hart is probably the littlest Negro I've seen on earth. Like, this Joker is mad little. Like, it's funny because it was like when he came in the room, it was so many people around him engulfed him, you couldn't even see him no more. You know what I mean? So I'm like, he don't even need a lot of security. He need 2 or 3 big security guys, and they just gonna smother him to the point where you ain't gonna be able to know who's behind the security. But you know, he was there. This was probably like 2013. So this is probably like when he first started kind of getting like to that level or whatever. But yeah, I seen Snoop Dogg in the airport before, like when I used to work in the airport years ago, and he seemed like he like seemed like larger than life when I seen him. He was just so like he's so tall, like he's like, you know what I mean? He's super tall. So it's been a few people. I met Michael Jordan before. So, you know, I'm not one of those people that's if I meet you, you ain't gonna know that I'm like excited inside. You know what I mean? Because I ain't gonna approach you like that. I'm gonna approach you like a regular person. You know what I mean? And whatever. So I'm happy you got that experience or whatever, because you know I know Sam put a lot of time and work and effort in trying to make it the best experience for y'all or whatever when y'all went. So I'm glad it turned out well for y'all. So anyway, Jacob, back to you.
So, do you want to step into that acting roles to become a household name as an actress as well?
I've thought about it, and I've done like some small roles. I've also done here recently for Soulfly Ty, Make Some Noise. I've kind of been like, you know, maybe a club scene extra. I think in the near future, once everything starts to take off, yes, that's something I would love to do. I think I'd like to pick up in that. It's going to take a lot of my time. It definitely will. That I would have to kind of rearrange my schedule for, but I am looking to adding that to my roster, because if adding acting to my roster as well, it'll help put me out there also.
Mm-hmm. It will. So talk about rearranging your schedule. You're a corporate America person. Your mother, model, event host, um, a lot. And so, how do you balance that all?
Just making sure I don't take on too much, because it is just me doing everything by myself. I'm a freelance. So I basically just make sure not to overconsume myself with too much, because I know a few years ago I started overdoing it, and it just became out of control, because there was a gig here and there was a gig here, and then there was a show this weekend, there's a photo shoot this weekend, and then I had to travel to do this, and it became too complex. And again, trying to make sure that I maintain being a mom, and then make sure things at work are good. it was complex. So now I just, if I can do it, I can. I weigh the good over the best or the better. And then if it's within my means, then that's something I'll make sure I do.
Right. And especially being so complex when you don't have a management to keep your schedule, to answer your phone calls, to really understanding if this benefits you, if this don't benefit you, and just to get all the things out, and just to really understand what they should bring back to you and ask you, and what they shouldn't. What they should turn down for you and what they shouldn't turn down for you. So that's why sometimes management is very very important, or just not even management, but just having your entertainment consultant type person. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That does a consultant for you. So balancing that all can get overwhelming. It can get rough. Because being a mother, and kids want to do stuff just like us adults want to do stuff, and especially if you got a kid that's into any type of arts and crafts, any type of sports, the beta club, um, the Youth Future Business Owners of America, or just whatever those prestigious organizations are that the kids are in. That's also time consuming for a parent as well. So
Yeah.
I mean, it can get overwhelming. So when it comes to you, how did you build your brand? And how much time did it take for people to understand who La the model is? You know what I mean? Because um, it's like nothing happened overnight, and Rome wasn't built in a day. So it takes time.
That's true. So for me, I had a life change happen a few years ago. I was married, I got divorced. So I actually took a break for about maybe a few years just to kind of reconstruct, get my mental right, kind of get things together. So last year I actually came back out because I said, you know what, it's time for me to start modeling. I got my kids together. Everybody was good. So then it was time for me. So last year I actually entered into the Queen City Awards for Charlotte with Kevin Glover. And I don't know, something, I'm gonna be honest with you, something magically for me that I've never done before was content creating and promoting. So last year, I actually promoted very heavily just myself, who I am, what I do. Um, I didn't get the award for Female Model of the Year, but what I did and was able to accomplish was just the exposure of just letting people know who I am, just getting me out. And so I humbly was just even grateful to just be even nominated, in the category for Female Model of the Year. So this year, I've really started getting my brand out. I've really started promoting, just showing a lot of content on my social media platform of just different places, different rooms that I've been in, um, even different magazines. Um, just really get myself out there with photo shoots, fashion shows. I haven't done really too many fashion shows this year, but just the photo shoots, the magazines, a lot of that stuff has really gotten me out there for people to say, you know what, hey, I want to work with you. I want to work with you. And then again, just an honor for, alumnum, America's Next Top Model to even say, hey, I like the way you look. I want to work with you. I like your walk. I like your style. I want to work with you. That was big for me to just be seen. And a lot of the models out here, they think you have to do a whole lot um, and a whole lot of extra stuff that you shouldn't be doing, when really all you need to do is just be consistent with who you are. Continue to make sure that the content that you're putting out and who and how you carry yourself, that's how people are going to continue to get to know you. They're going to continue to see who you are. So for me, I will say content creating and posting. has really gotten me out there.
Right, right. So I'm so glad that you're on here this morning, and we're talking about imagery and the way a person should look. So me and my sister was sitting there watching the movie Sparkle the other day, right? You
Mhm.
familiar with the movie Sparkle, right?
Yep.
Okay, so what the executive told the manager, he said, "I love them. I love the way they sound. I would love the way they look, but I need to see how they look in the light of the day." I don't think if a lot of people caught what that man said. That man said, "I need to see how they look in the light of the day." That means I need to see how they look at 11 a.m., at 10 a.m., even at 9 a.m., without the hair done, without the makeup. And so I think that's only not important for females, but I think that's important for males. Just with this independent move of this industry, man. And I talk about image all the time, and having a good image. And I tell because I've managed artists for a long time, and I told them this. I'm telling this 12, 13 years ago. I told them, I said, man, a lot of times your image will sell you more than your music. And people be like, what that mean? That means that means that music can't get the same deal that Nas can get.
Hmm.
Because the image is not the same. That means that uh, uh, you can't walk in. You can't expect Kodak Black to get the same deal as Young Jeezy or Ludacris. You know what I mean? Because the image is so different. So companies look at, you know, if I was pitching them to another company, does their image look good enough for me to pitch them? Even though you might be pitching yourself to their company, but they look at it from the outside looking in. Does this image look good enough for me to pitch them, for me to pitch them for sponsorship or endorsements or anything like that? And so I think it's very important that we have talked about that with you, about how important the image is. And I've always said your image and in the warm greeting of your smile can get your foot in the door where your talent can't. Do you agree or disagree?
I absolutely 100% agree. So the person that you all see today, I'm like this at work. I'm like this at home. I'm even like this when I go out. I'm very serious as far as like with my modeling, but as far as just my personality, this is exactly who I am. Um, I've even had the chance, even with my job, to go internationally to Germany. So I was able to put on a very good impression, because first impressions are lasting. So that's something that's very important that a lot of people need to understand. Doesn't matter where you go or who you meet, first impressions are lasting. So how a person sees you today is exactly how they're going to remember you. So if they see something else different, I don't know if they'll too much judge you on that part, but um, for me, it is very highly important for who you are off camera and on camera, because somebody's always watching. I know I make sure I tell my kids that, just be careful what you post, be careful how you are, because what they see, that's what they're going to remember you as. And for individuals, when they meet me, I want them to always remember, at least what they see today. I'm an individual who has been through a lot, but I tell you what, I'm an individual that's going to keep fighting. I'm an individual that's going to keep being that model representation of success, I'm just a little young girl from a small city that's trying to make it. And I'm not even trying to make it. I'm being successful. I'm stepping in rooms I've never thought I'd ever be. And it's possible, but it all depends on, just like what you said, your imagery. It all depends on just who you are, um, and being true and being honest with yourself. It makes a big of a difference, especially to the people that are watching you, because a lot of these young girls, they look at the models and the women, and they see the big boobs and the big behinds, and there's nothing wrong with it. But then there's also too nothing wrong with who you are. And there's nothing wrong with how you look. And if there's anything that you want to change, then you need to change it the way you want to change it.
Right. Appreciate you for sure. For sure.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that because my partner over here, he called me $1 Million Eddie. My family called me Pretty Boy Swag because every time I get up in the morning to get dressed and go somewhere, or we go somewhere as a family, they always like, Dad, you gotta always overdo it, or you know what I mean, like what do you know what I mean, or whatever. And I said, well, I'd rather overdress than underdress. And then when I'm with him, he'd be like, boy, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Because he know when I get with him, we gotta do something that he feel like, but you what you got going on here, like sometime and stuff. So, but that came from the way I was raised. So I was raised by my grandmother, and my grandmother was the type. I don't care if she was going to the corner store. She done got up because my grandma got up every morning. She put on her slacks and her little flower shirts and did her hair and everything. And you like, Grandma, where you going? Oh, I'm just going to the grocery store. Like that? Like you going? Like you might, why are you know what I'm saying? So my grandma just always taught me and my sister to like, every time you walk out the house, look like something, you know what I mean? And so it kind of spilled over to my adult life where I just always like, it bothers me especially when I see us as Black and brown people, when I see us not looking our best. Like I used to work in the airport and manage restaurants and stuff, and some of my employees, they young come in there, the girls would have their hair done, and the guys come in looking all floppy, and I'll be like, so y'all know, and I'm in Atlanta, so I'm like, y'all know we get like a lot of celebrities and stuff come through here, and a lot of important people. So what if y'all know y'all get starstruck? So what if one of these guys wanted to holler at y'all and you come here looking like this? And they be like, Mr. Eddie. I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. I'm like, y'all need to come to work. I said, I know this is your job and you don't care like that, but at the end of the day, you always got to present yourself a certain way when you come, when you in public, because you just never know who may see you and say something about you. Like I wear clothes and stuff where I get older white people and come up to me and telling me how they like something I have on, whether it's a shirt, some shoes, some jewelry, whatever. You know what I mean? And so sometimes it's a conversation piece that can lead into something else. Now you find out they might be doing something important, and here go my card. The next thing you know, you done network with somebody that can put you in front of somebody. So I just want to say that. But before we get out of here, I just want to ask you one quick question to go back to the video Vixen thing. So how important is it now? Because back in the day, I feel like rappers kind of gave the video Vixen a bad name because they would use these girls in ways of kind of derogatory type situations in their videos, dancing half naked, all the kind of stuff. And I know, like with the Southern Soul, Be Sincere and the Southern Soul stuff and all that, they kind of looks like you're acting in it and you're showing like the positive side of a Black woman and a strong woman, whatever, and being there by her man and kind of those type of scenarios. So how important was it for you to be able to show yourself in the right light in these videos?
So I had some small parts in there, but for me, being able to just showcase, basically my alter ego, which is Lala, and that is seductive, it's classy, it's professional. So I don't have to really show all the extra stuff. I'm the tease. So I don't need to be extra with it to still not look good or to still not be able to give the music of what he's trying to portray, what he wants and what he needs. You are absolutely correct as far as like with, the video vixens and how some of the women, I understand what they're doing. And that's totally, their choice for what they want. But I know for what I want, is to just continue to portray that professional, that classy, but that sexy, seductive tease type. Because I'm not gonna give it all to you. I'm gonna give you a little piece of it. I'm not gonna give it all to you. But that's just, it all depends on how you want the world to see you. And that's exactly how I want them to see me. I'm gonna put it out, but I ain't gonna put it all the way out there. I'm gonna keep it classy with mine. So it just all depends on how, women, how they want to be seen. And some women, they don't mind being, fully out there, and they don't mind showing their bodies, exposing a lot. They don't mind doing that. But for me, I still got a family, I still got a career, and I want to make sure that I maintain that high class professionalism, especially because now, I'm going to be getting into high fashion at the end of the year. So I got to make sure that my record, as far as what I've been doing is, modeling or whatever, I need to make sure that's clean and clear. I need to make sure it's not too exposed out there, because what if they tell me, oh, well, we can't use you. You've been doing some other stuff. So, we're going to pass. So I need to make sure that whatever field I'm going into, I need to keep my track record clean.
Yeah.
But not everybody's going to choose you.
Mm-hmm. You're 100% right, because I think the young women nowadays need to understand that you don't have to show everything for a man to be able to, or whoever you're trying to impress to look at you. If you're a beautiful person, woman, or whatever, you don't have to show all that. A man, one thing I'm gonna say this before we get out of here, men respect women more who don't show everything, because a lot of times how a man approaches you is based on what you give him. So if you give him this seductive, I'm free for whatever you want, whatever, then that's the way he gonna approach you. But if you kind of still carry yourself with a little bit more, class and dignity, then he gonna know, I can't step to Miss, Lala, I can't step to her any old kind of way. Not to say it's right that he stepped to the other woman that way. I'm just telling you the man of a mentality of a man. You know what I'm saying? What you give him is what whatever energy you give him is what the energy he gonna give you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just letting women know that being a man, almost 50 years old, I'm telling you what it is. You can dispute it all you want, but I'm telling you what a man thinks and how he thinks. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's right or wrong, that's how men think. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But anyway, I appreciate you coming on here, giving us your time. I know it's early in the morning. We still got our cold in our eyes and all that, but I appreciate you giving us your time. So just tell people where they can find you and anything you got coming up.
Yes. So you can find me on my social media platform, for Instagram and TikTok at Beautifully Lala. That's BeautifullyLala 29. That's on TikTok and Instagram. And on Facebook, you can find me at LaTonya Mentor. Again, I do have some shows coming up. July 27th, you can catch me in Augusta, Georgia, for the Southern Plug Music Awards. September 13th, I will be in New York Fashion Week. And then December 13th, I will be in Gulfport, Mississippi. Other than that, there's a possibility I could have other things going on. I've got some small fashion shows that are going on in Charlotte, North Carolina in July and August that I've got going on. But definitely stay tuned. And my motto is always to be continued, because the best is yet to come.
Yes, yes. And the crazy thing, but I was actually born in Augusta, Georgia. I didn't grow up there, but I was born there. So,
Really?
Yep, right there, Fort Gordon. My dad was in the military, so I was born right there in Fort Gordon.
Okay.
So, yep. So anyway, I appreciate you coming on. You have a blessed and wonderful day and week. And if anything that we can help you with, man, just don't feel free to reach out to either one of us, and we'll try to help you out, any way we can.
That sounds amazing. Thank you, guys. And then thank you, 95 South, for having me on.
Yes,
Stay
ma'am.
tuned.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You have a good day, everybody. See y'all on the next go.
Thank you.
Brown skin girl, and she knew I was out to go and clear my mind. The girl, she's